when I work with people, I set standard programs, standard plans for them because, we got to understand that human beings, we're living in an animal. We are, a spirit being living in a dumb flesh. We live in a beast, and it's been programmed. This animal body that we live in been programmed by society, parents, this and that, to eat and live a certain way. So for us to get back home, get back to nature, we can't freelance it too much because then we end up falling back, So it's good to have a set program. We get to train this animal. We got to sit it down, just like you domesticate and train your dogs and your cats. You need to train that you live in. It's really an endangered species. So rather than running off, going to try to save a bald eagle, you need to save that bald head that you sleep in each night. So we got to really be careful. We got to be careful with body here, because that dumb flesh can really get tied up with the mind, and both of them work against us. And they're a creature of habits, man, and they get addicted to pleasure. So putting it on a program, with the electromagnetic energies of food, where we would give them, first of all, you divide your day into 3 equal parts of 8 hours, and everyone would acknowledge that the most obvious part is, naturally when we're sleeping for that 8-hour period. And by the way, you don't even need 8 hours if you're not eating on certain levels. Myself, I'm just good for 5 hours. The more toxins in your body, the more waste you have to manage, then the more sleep you need. Because when you're sleeping during that period, that's waste management time. That's the fast mode. So the body is breaking down the dead cells and building the new ones. So when you wake up for the next 8 hours, that is your break fast mode. And then we follow these people that develop this English language. We'll see, they're pretty exact when they say this is your break fast meal. You're breaking fast every morning. So when you break a fast, please, you've read books on fasting, everyone out there. You got to be scientific about breaking a fast. You don't break a fast with faking bacon and granola and muffins and bagels and all of this stuff and some dehydrated flaxseed crackers and those things. You got to when you're fasting, the shrink. It empties out. Comes down to a rudimentary state. And for that 8 hours of the break fast period, you have to pour electrical current into that system and clean it out. That is the elimination phase. That is the detoxification period of our day. And then the third phase of the day is the intake mode. And that's between your lunch and dinner period. That's when you're putting in the raw building material. So if you grew up in a place like here, like in Panama and Paradise, or in the equator, and before Columbus and these other guys came and turned on the lights for us,
sure.
We went to sleep when the sun went down, So the ideal time to be sleeping, to be fasting, is from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. 2 hours after sunset, you're in bed and you're up 2 hours before sunrise, 4 a.m. And here, we still got wild fowls out here, wild roosters that are crowing in the morning to wake us up like clockwork every morning at 4 a.m. And even out there in your suburban little neighborhoods, I'm sure you have little birds, tweaking in your windows at 3 a.m. still in some of these places in the morning to wake us up and let us know, the sun is coming. Let's get up and rise and greet the sun. So as the sun rises, we rise with the sun. So that break fast period is from 4 a.m. to 12 noon. So within that phase, we're eliminating. The body wants to eliminate. It doesn't want to put in any building structure, any building material, no big cereal, and these types of things, because those are building foods. The magnetic foods are big. So you want to come in with the electrical food. You come in with your coconut water first thing in the morning. Take that internal shower. We're just so external, we never consider our internal shower. You could just take that internal shower every morning with your coconut water first thing. With an hour or so, you go out, do your exercise, break a sweat. So as the sun burns the cloud out of the skies, it burns the mucus out of your system in the morning. So you want to sweat, and you're going to have your bowel movements. You follow this lifestyle naturally. Actually, when you get up in the morning, that's usually the most natural act to do. On the sun-fired feasting, fasting, and healing system. Your bowels just empty out. And one big movement for the day, for the day. You know, the 3 bowel movements a day concept is just based on the fact that if you're eating 3 big meals a day, the one that goes in pushes the next one out at the gate, you know. But the way the body does all its eliminations in the morning and drop that big, heavy load, and it's a one-drop movement. You don't have to push and strain or do anything like that. Sometimes you got to get up and make your way quick, you know, to that throne. To unleash that waste energy. So that waste matter in the morning, we want to get it out of the system. So we want to put in these electrical foods, these cleansing foods, the melons and the oranges and the peaches and papayas. It's fiber and liquid, basically. And for those of us whose system has been compromised because we've been eating all refined sugar, all of the agave and all of the extra sweet dates and the maple syrup and the honey and all of those other processed sweeteners that now, you know, and then all the cooked starch, you know, those cooked starches still have to be turned into sugar, and we end up with diabetes and all of the other issues that are related to this food culture here. And the doctor said, well, you can't eat fruits because it's got too much sugar in it. Fruits are massive cleansers. They're great medicine. They're medications, you know, that cleans the body. You know, and fruits do not build in a dirty house. It's going to clean it first. So, yeah, you're going to have the diarrhea. You're going to have the runs. You're going to show, you know, yeast conditions. You know, these are elimination crises that are going on. But if you get away from the cooked starch and you get away from the processed concentrated sugars, then you would be able to enjoy your fruits. You know, yeah, there's some people in the raw food circle talking about fruit sugar is not this and fruit sugar is not that today, and don't eat fruits and because of this and so forth. No, I run on fruits. I run on fruit sugar, you know, that the body doesn't have to process and break down. Why are you going to, you know, take some sprouted, dehydrated, you know, grain crackers, you know, and try to take your body to turn that into sugar, while you can just eat some grapes and get some whole grape sugar. Ultimately, everything that you consume has to be broken down to that simple grape-like sugar. So if you have compromised your system and you can't enjoy the fruits because it's such a powerful medicine and it creates such a radical healing crisis that the doctors say, no, don't eat that because you got diabetes. You know what I mean? I see doctors get people off of fruits that are diabetic, and for years, the diabetes situation keeps getting worse. And they've stopped eating fruits. So obviously the fruit connection is not what they're talking about. You know, so it's something else that you're consuming that is creating these issues. But anyway, if you've compromised your system to such a degree, then just go ahead and have some sugarless watermelon. Have a diet watermelon, which is basically cucumber. Just have cucumber juice. That's a sugarless melon. You want a diet drink? Hit it. Okay? It would really help you normalize and regulate your system.
So another thing is, what do you think about, should we eat 3 times a day, or is it okay to eat between meals, or should can we eat just spontaneously during the whole day, bananas, fruit, etc.? What's your idea about this?
Yeah, when it comes to that, it really comes down to a personalized, individual, you know, options, you know. For me, the ideal way to eat is really 1 meal per day, you know, 1 solid meal. And generally for me, that's right smack in the middle of the afternoon of my day, around 3 o'clock. In the morning, my body is cleansing, it's eliminating waste. So I'm not going to put in food into my body to build it. So I'm not going to eat a meal, a breakfast like the you know, is recommended by a lot of our practitioners. I would just put in a break fast into my system because my body's breaking its fast. So I want to clean it out. I want to flush it out. I want to hose it out, scrub it, sweep it out. So I put in a lot of liquids and fibers, you know, juices and fruits in my system. Then mid-afternoon, I would have my solid, rich, concentrated protein. And usually I would combine that with about 75% of vegetables, if I'm eating vegetables, or the vegetable fruits, or I can even combine it with our fruits if those proteins are seeds and nuts that have been soaked, germinated, you know, and activated so that the body can digest them effectively and they won't compete with the fruit in my diet. But individuals, based on their level of activity, the constitution of their system, they can opt to just eat fruits all day and have, 3-4 pieces of fruit like every 2-3 hours. There's nothing wrong with that. Fruits take a very small amount of time to digest. Within an hour, the average high moisture content fruit is already digested in our system. But if we're eating these big solid 3 square meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner with all of the fats and concentrated complex carbohydrates, then those meals take on average about 4 hours to digest. So you're talking, 12 hours of digestion for 3 meals in one day. So we're spending a lot of time digesting, and not to mention the hour or so that we spend eating those meals. That's like 15 hours of the body just constantly in digestive mode. No wonder why a lot of them are constipated. And then they got this theory about, 3 bowel movements a day. Yeah, if you're putting in 3 heavy loads a day, then the next one down the system, down the chute, pushes the other one out the gate that's down at the bottom. But if you're eating the way I recommend, the sun-fired feasting, fasting, and healing system based on the electromagnetic energies of the food, then the morning, the body does all its elimination in the morning. That's the elimination period. That's when the waste comes out of the body. And most of the time it's involuntary. You get up out of the bed and you're pretty much, heading to the throne right there. You don't have to push, you don't have to meditate, you don't have to sit and read a book. The thing just drops right out on you. It's like boom, one drop, period. That's it. And you're done with your elimination for the day. And you see the massive load that drops right out. So, that break fast period is very crucial. So let's just hydrate the body and sweep it out, mop it out. Take that internal shower in the morning.